Hey guys, today I'll be reacting to 10 things that will shock you about Portugal. I wonder what it is, so let's get into this.
Here with Walter's World, and we're in Lisbon, Portugal, my old stomping grounds. I lived here for 5 years. I love Portugal, but even a place I love like Portugal, I know there's things that'll shock a tourist when they come here. So what we have for you today are the 10 things that are going to shock you when you come to visit Portugal. Now, the first thing that's going to shock you is when you go out to eat, and you're going to have to pay for the bread and butter. Yes,
Oh, you
the bread on the
do?
table, the butter on the table, the olives. These things you do pay for here,
Oh,
and they actually are in the menu
interesting.
now. You'll see that. But the thing is, if you're coming from the U.S. or other places that, oh, chips and salsa is free, bread is free. Here it's not the
Yeah,
case. And I know people that have actually spent more money on the bread, the cheese, and the ham that they've been given. They spent more money on that than they did on their actual meal. Okay, so be careful with that one. So you might be shocked.
good
Yes,
tip.
you do have
I'll
to pay for
remember
the bread
this.
and butter in most places. Not everywhere, but just pay attention. Now, if you don't eat it, you don't have to pay. You don't want it, you say no, thank you. They'll take it away, no
Okay.
problem. All right. So, but that'll be the first thing that shocks you. The second thing that may shock you is also to do with the restaurants is the fact that a lot of the places will close the kitchens between 3 and 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So if you're a tourist and you're used to eating at 5 o'clock in
Really?
the afternoon for dinner, realize you're going to have to go to more tourist areas to get dinner. Okay, so there's places here in Lisbon that do open throughout the day, and the kitchen is all the time. But a traditional tashka, like a family-run restaurant,
Oh,
they'll serve food
snails.
from about 11 to about 3, and then they'll serve food again from 7 till 11 or 12. Now the thing is, the
That's a long
restaurants won't
time.
necessarily close during the day or during that off time. What they'll do is they'll have what are called salgados, like little savory treats, maybe croquettes of
Oh,
meat, or you can get a
good.
tostamista, a toasted ham and cheese sandwich. But if you want, bacalhau à or bacalhau com natas or porco preto, the really awesome dishes here, it's hard
That
to
look
get in the late
interesting.
afternoon hours. So that's going to shock you. But just know if you want the real Tasca Portuguese experience, you might have to wait for it, okay? The third thing that might shock you when you come here, and this is actually the first thing that shocked me the first time I came to Portugal, Portuguese bullfighting. Now, if you go to Spain, you see the ole, ole stuff,
Oh,
and you see the swords and things like that.
that would
Portuguese
be fun to
bullfighting, they don't
watch.
kill the bull in the stadium. And the thing is, it's more horse riding in the beginning. They ride the horses around to tire out the bull. And then there's a bunch of guys in these kind of funny outfits and green hats. They kind of look like
Oh.
Portuguese elves. They go out there and they literally
Oh
and they
no!
catch the bull. I'm not kidding. The bull charges him. They catch the bull. It is completely
Oh, what the
insane. When you see it the
heck?
first time, it will shock you. If you're here in the summer or the fall, you might see it on TV and you're
Yeah.
just like, what the heck? Yes, Portuguese bullfighting where they actually catch the bull, it'll shock you. The fourth thing that might shock
I'm
you when you
already
come to
shocked.
Portugal, especially if you come from the US,
That's
is the
crazy.
Portuguese love to smoke. They smoke a lot
Oh.
here. And you'll see people outside and in the cafes and outside banks and outside offices smoking, smoking,
Wow.
smoking. There's no stigma on smoking here in Portugal. So a lot of people, when they come from the US, like, oh my God, everyone here is smoking. Not everyone, but
Yeah.
yes, smoking is quite common here. And that does shock some tourists that, yes, you can't smoke next to people. And the thing is, they do have a law. You can't smoke inside unless you have designated smoking areas. So if you're flying in and
Oh,
out
it's
of
pretty
Lisbon,
there.
they actually have like a small, like cordoned off area that's just for smokers, okay? The
That's
fifth thing that might
good.
shock you when you come here as a tourist is trying to find good lower price and middle price hotels. There's definitely a lack of those in Portugal. So if you're looking for hotels,
Oh.
you're not going to get much great stuff, lower end, middle end prices. So what I recommend is Portugal actually has some of the best hostels. I know hostels. Mark,
Oh,
I'm
I
40 years
hate
old, 30 years
hostels.
old. I don't go to hostels. They have family rooms there. They have stuff like that. But honestly, Hostel World has ranked a lot of the Portuguese hostels, especially here in Lisbon, some of the best in the world. And also,
Really?
Portugal is really good with vacation rentals, getting an apartment. We're staying here in an apartment this time, and it's great. We got bedrooms, we got laundry, we got all kinds of stuff. So you're going to go
That would
that
be
way.
nice to
But trying to
have.
find a cheap hotel or a middle price hotel that's good is kind of tough. So stick to hostels, a rented apartment, or go high price, okay? But it is kind of shocking where, you can go from Germany or Austria and you find like good middle price stuff, and you don't have so much of that here. Now,
Yeah, one of my comments said that prices in Portugal's hotels are like $200 per night. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. And I don't like hostel, and I never had hostels. I just don't like to sleep with other people. So yeah, that's definitely gonna hurt my pocket.
The sixth thing that might shock you about Portugal is their concept of time. Going out to lunch, yes, that's going to be 2 hours. Going out to dinner, yes, it could be a five
My
hour
gosh,
affair. We went to go have lunch with our friends in Sintra the other day. We ended up at their house for 11 hours. Time in
11
Portugal is quite
hours.
relative, okay? So if someone
Wow,
tells you,
that's a
hey,
lot.
let's have dinner at 7, what they probably mean is 8 or later, okay? So don't be surprised. So if you meet Portuguese people and they're really nice and they speak English really well and they invite you to do
Oh,
something and they say, oh, let's meet at 8, you just say, hi, I'm from a country where 8 o'clock means 7:55. When should I be there? Okay, so just do those things.
okay, good
It'll make your
tip.
life a lot easier. But the concept of time here does get some of the tourists upset because they're always getting a coffee or having a cigarette or things like that. Now, the
Makes
seventh
sense.
thing that may shock you about Portugal and may give you white knuckles is the driving. Oh my goodness, it's
Oh,
like every Portuguese person has a little rally driver inside them and it's going shoo, 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 shoo. It
oh
doesn't
my
matter where you
gosh.
are in the country,
For
it's like little
real?
rally drivers everywhere. And if you take taxis, which you will because they're nice and affordable here, you will feel that, oh my God, I'm going to die feeling. And the thing is, yes, they do drive kind of crazy here and they drive very fast.
Oh
But one of
my
the weird things
gosh.
is I found that if I'm in the crosswalk, they actually do stop for me. But if I'm walking on the sidewalk and I get a little too close to the edge, woo, hey, it gets a little close
Oh,
there. So be careful. One, if you're driving or if you've got little
okay.
kids, you keep them next to you all the time, okay? Because the driving here is nuts, like white knuckle driving, scared out for your life in the taxi sometimes. Yes, that can happen. So just know that, all right? Now, the eighth
That sounds scary. Is this for real? Oh my gosh, that would be so scary to go on a taxi. Yikes.
thing that might shock you is when you come here to Lisbon, you're going to get somebody that offers to sell you sunglasses. And then you'll say, no, no, I don't need sunglasses. And then they'll say, oh, hashish? Cocaina? You want like marijuana or cocaine
Oh, what
instead?
the
Like, oh
heck?
no, that escalated quickly. Look, these people, they're selling, trying to sell you drugs. They're not selling you real
Oh,
drugs anyway. And Portugal has decriminalized most drugs. So the cops don't really do anything about it. It's just one of those little annoyances. But just know if you're a tourist, and that's the key, locals say, I don't see this very often. It's the tourists that get asked. Stand outside the Rosio station where you go to Sintra. There's a Starbucks there. There's people selling drugs all the time.
oh
We're
my
there with some friends of
gosh.
ours. Their son is 15. Guy came up, would you like some drugs? We're like, no, thank you. I'm gonna go take a train to Sintra instead. Oh, okay. These kind of things. So they do ask you
That
hashish or marijuana,
is
cocaine.
very
Just say
crazy.
no thanks, because they're not selling you real drugs anyway. It's all fake anyway. All right. But it does kind of
Oh,
shock people. And they've asked my
yeah.
mom, who's a little bit older than me, if she wanted drugs. She's like, no, thank you. So that might shock you when you're here in Lisbon. That's more of a Lisbon-centric thing. Now, the ninth thing that might shock you when you come here is how affordable Portugal is. This is a cheap vacation. To stay, to eat, to travel, it is extremely affordable. Okay, so when you come here, your money
Really?
goes a lot farther. You get one of the small beers here, it's €1. Okay, that same small beer in Sweden is like $8. All right, so you do have a much better time here. Your money goes a lot farther, and you see a
That's
lot of tourists have
good.
started to see that. So you get tons and tons of tourists coming to Portugal now for these great prices. So I tell people, they're looking for a warm, easy place to go. I say, look, Portugal's great. A lot of the people speak English. They're very friendly. They got great
Wow,
food,
okay.
and it's affordable. So it's a great combination. And there's direct flights all over Europe and to the U.S. from here. So Philly, Newark, places like that. It really makes it a great place to go. So you'll be shocked how affordable it is. You're like, wow, I can get all this stuff. Did they miss something up? No, they didn't. They got it right. Okay, so that kind of shocks people how affordable it is here. And then the
So, how affordable are we talking here? Like, how much do you pay per meal? Is it gonna be lower $20? Because he mentioned like how expensive the hotels. So now I'm curious if this is really true. Interesting.
10th thing that might shock you when you're here is you'll see the cobblestones here in Portugal, these little tiny squares put together, and they have designs and stuff like that, and it's beautiful. But the thing is, they can be slick as snot. So if you're here and you see the water
Oh.
coming on me, this is from the fountain. This stuff can get very slick. And if you're wearing high heels and stuff like that, it can be very dangerous. So just be careful with the slippery pavement, because I've seen many a tourist go whoops and fall on their butt
Oh,
on the
that would be
slippery pavement. Now,
bad.
it doesn't always rain here in Portugal, so it's not a big issue. But just pay
Okay,
attention
sounds
because it
good.
can get very slick. And if there's dog poop there, it'll obviously be slick too. So that'll do it for you. Anyway, those are 10 things that I think that might shock you about.
That was a interesting video, and yeah, those things really shock me, especially the people that sell you cocaine or drugs on the street and the scary taxi drivers. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe and comment down below what else should I react to. I'll see you guys next time.